the gigantic, very impressive, functioning, and very well technologically activated public service academy, the best in Nigeria, the best in West Africa, the Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy, a great child of His Excellency, the autocratic governor, the transformer, the actualizer, Mr. Godwin Novelase Obaseki. I tell you, this place was becoming a ramshackle. It was in the state of comatose. But today, what we have is something not just fantastic, not just fabulous, but we can use the two intertwined. It is a fantabulous edifice. Can we put our hands together for the one who dreamed it and the one who has the honor of the lady? Please, a round of applause. A round of applause. Our little background, the Public Service Academy is named after one man who led Edo to become a state, sovereign in its own right among the others in the country, and became the first state to be as a result of the plebiscite, because this is the old Midwest. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the first executive governor of Edo State in 1991 when it was created. A great man, experienced, retired permanent secretary, a man who fought for the emancipation of the common man and the enthronement of democracy in Nigeria. His Excellency, Dr. Chief John Kenneth Odigie-Oyegun. Please, a round of applause. He's here with our mother, Her Excellency Mrs. Odigie-Oyegun. Please, a round of applause. Permit me, Your Excellency, to welcome some notable, distinguished, great men from nobility to the business class and the political world. We have today the Sama of Great Benin, or we say the universe, Chief, Sir, Doctor, His Excellency, Gabriel Osawaru Ibiridion, the Sama of Benin, the Honorary Romanian Ambassador to Edo and Delta State, the Otu Parakonye of Ibadan, the Malemu of Ondo, the Watara of Lantan, the Sama of the universe. Please, a round of applause. Your Excellency, we have here the Enogi of Igbai Siloku. Please, a round of applause. We also have Honorable Justice Waifu, retired President of the retired member of the Supreme Court. Please, a round of applause. Here also with us, the Chief Judge of Edo State, my Lord, Honorable Justice Okumbo. Please, a round of applause. A round of applause. The Secretary to Edo State Government is here with us. A very distinguished, sound administrator of men, materials, and resources. Let's welcome with the hand of applause Odigie-Oyegun, Esquire. And also here with us the head of service, the engine room of the civil service of the states. And of course, the man who is happiest today, because over 20,000 of his men and women who are workers in Edo State have passed through this place within a short time of its establishment. Let's welcome Anthony Osas Okumbora, Esquire, the head of service Edo State, number one civil servant, our great motivator. Please, a round of applause. Your Excellency, we have Senator Odigie-Oyegun here with us. We have Senator Roland Owie also here with us. We have civil commissioners of Edo State and other members of the Executive Council. We have permanent secretaries of the Edo State government and other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Permit me with every sense of apology, let me welcome the chairman of the People's Democratic Party of Edo State, Dr. Tony Azibri. Please, a round of applause. We are sorry, sir. I didn't know you were sitting on this side. Thank you so much, sir. Let's also welcome the chairman of the NBA, Musa Usagi Esquire. Please, a round of applause. We have the president of the World Medical Association, Dr. Mrs. Osamo Inabulili. Please, a round of applause. We have Mr. Daniel Ine in the house. Please, a round of applause. We have here in the house, please don't me because the names were written in this order. Okay, so please, with every sense of respect, our father, our elder statesman in Nigeria, please put your hands together for the retired head of service of the Federation, Mr. Stephen or Rosalie. Please, a round of applause. We also have Mr. Clement Aliye, former Secretary to the State Government, is here with us. Please, a round of applause. We have Mr. Speaker of the Edo State House Assembly, represented by Honorable Donald Okokwe. Please, a round of applause. Honorable Donald Okokwe is representing Akoko Edo constituency too. Thank you so much. Well, we are going to do more introductions later on, but at this juncture, let me respectfully, with every sense of honor and pride, to be part of this event, invite the man who dreamed and it became true. The dream came to pass. What we are seeing here today is the edifice that was conceptualized and actualized by the autocrat. I call it the philosopher governor of Edo State, the best in Nigeria, as acclaimed by over 10 international bodies within and outside Nigeria. The John Odigie-Oyegun Public Academy to be commissioned by His Excellency. And to do that introduction, let me welcome JOOPSA.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you see the dividend of memorandum of understanding? Ladies and gentlemen, can you see what the technocrat in power has done? Is this I saw or I will do? Have you seen the wait and see governor conceptualizing and bringing into friction what will make the Edo State civil servants digitally oriented? And who else can these administration, a federal permanent secretary retired. And when he contested as governor of Edo State, what was the hallmark? Can you see my white beard? This white beard, he told us, was experienced. And he became the first executive governor of Edo State. His Excellency Chief John Odigie-Oyegun, Public Service Academy, made popular, made possible by the wait and see governor of Edo State. Can everybody shout wait and see? Are you woken up to see the Public Service Academy? Arriving the mother of Edo State that is giving support to our governor. Ladies and gentlemen, can you make a round of welcome to our Excellency Betsy Opasity, the First Lady of Edo State and our mother? Can you please make the applause resounding for her? Ladies and gentlemen, on the birthday of our great man, history is about to remain in the formal opening and commissioning. Very rare in this administration because Mr. Governor does not believe in commissioning projects. Once the project is done and the people are using it, it has been commissioned. Now we are approaching the moment. Now we are approaching the time. History is about to remain. Can we all please rise as we invite the Excellency to perform this historic assignment in official opening and commissioning of the John Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy. The rest of you just remain standing where you are as we invite the Excellency to please approach to do this epoch historic event. Can you please make the applause resounding?
It is my pleasure, in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, to commission this academy, the John Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy, for the prosperity of Edo State, for the progress of Edo State, for the development and happiness of the people of Edo State, and that by the grace of the Almighty God, it will eventually become a lighthouse in the Nigerian nation. In the name of the Father, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of the Son, this building will be blessed, and in the name of the Holy Spirit, all those who pass through this also, the honors of this academy prosper.
The official unveiling and reading of the flag is about to be done now, and His Excellency will continue the good work he has started. Can you put your hands together as he reads what is there?
Used by the governor, known as the Obaseki administration, and commissioned by Chief Odigie-Oyegun on this blessed day, Saturday, the 12th of August, in the year 2023. And this flag was manufactured in Igun Street.
The bronze was done in Igun Street, Benin City, Edo State. Can you put your hands together for the Excellencies? The inspection of the facilities now, and only those that have been so assigned with joy, while the rest of us will salvo the sweetness of the moment with wonderful music. As the mover Adjono, the Director General of these establishments, will take the excellencies around the Lion Hall. These amazing facilities, Yaro Justice, Mama, Yaro Justice, Joe Islam Acha, the state chairman of the PDP, Dr. Tony Azipiri, Dr. Clement Alia, former Secretary of
all our offices are around there. We have open offices, workstations. I can show you just one. And our culture at JOOPSA really is frontline. There's somebody, I think it was the Chief of Staff of the Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy. This is a holding area. So we imagine that when we have our training sessions, if you don't mind, I would really like His Excellencies to see. So here we can have hangouts, some sort of networking happening, tea breaks, breakout, smart, you don't want to sit down, a walking break, this is typically the area where that will happen. So perhaps if anybody wants anything, we've got healthy fruits and all of that. Because with JOOPSA, it's adult education and we want it to be an experience so that when people live here, they actually do learn something. Happy to show you a few of our classrooms. Solve some of these problems. You come to JOOPSA, you sit here, and you get it done. One of our partners is already talking to us to adopt this place so that they help us with digital upskilling, because that's a gap that we see that we have, as well as help us power the next generation of ideas. Depending on who you talk to, everybody recognizes that Nigeria has a problem. Well, how do we solve it? So for us, we want to solve a problem. The premise of JOOPSA is that we are strengthening the public service institution through capacity building, and we're very intentional about doing that. So we're calling this our Government Innovation Hub. We hope that in the next 5-10 years, people can say that I sat in here and that is how I powered the next idea. So this is what this is. JOOPSA is an enabler, not an indicator, so we want to support our service to them. Often people say, for those of us who came from perhaps the private sector, where do you go to learn about the public service? That's our niche. You come to JOOPSA. That's what we hope that we become in the next 5 to 10 years. So will help us change. So I'll just take us, this is the final thing. I'm sorry that we have stressed you a little bit. We have the exact same thing here, if you want to see, but it all works really. But just show you still. Same classroom, His Excellency for motivation, and then yes, this is where we learn. Okay, I can take it to the. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to our amphitheater, our main hall, and it will just allow us. This will be all, and then yes, this is where we can finally sit. Our chairman is here before us. Good to see you, sir. And this is where all the magic will be happening today. Thank you so much, Your Excellencies. It's an honor. I'll bring them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
so much for that combination. Thank you so much. Sharp, sharp.
So do ensure, take a look and a second look before you take a seat. Where you should. We will be so grateful if you will take a look and a second look before you take a seat to ensure you are where you should be. We thank you for your cooperation. We appreciate you for your patience. Press, media, we ask respectfully that you create space for people to move. Gentlemen and women with cameras, please leave the aisles so people can move. Thank you. All right. Distinguished guests, we are so honored, we are so delighted to have you here with us at JOOPSA. What a delight. Introductions have been made, a guided tour of the facilities has been done. To welcome us formally, distinguished guests, is a woman that I like, love, admire, an unapologetic learner, committed to upskilling and capital development. She is skilled in learning. She's also a development expert, a change manager, a curriculum creator, and she is the Pioneer Director General right here at JOOPSA. Please warmly receive Precious Imue Ajonu.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Your Excellency, the man of Odigie-Oyegun is at honor. Good morning, Mrs. Victoria. Thank you for being here, very honored. Good morning, our chairman of the occasion, Honorable Justice Waifu. I'm not going to pretend that I understand. So please permit me to start on all. His Excellency has given us a mandate now to teach protocol here. So I will be in that class as well. Thank you, because learning is continuous. On behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State, I want to sincerely welcome all of us to what we like to call a dream that its time has come. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State, always says that the civil and public service is the engine of government. If you are a young person like me, who is trying or who is overwhelmed with some of the issues that face Nigeria, you ask yourself, where do we start? What we like to think is that JOOPSA is a start. JOOPSA, named after a living legend, by the way, it's an honor, sir, Chief John Odigie-Oyegun, was founded to strengthen the public service institution through capacity building. Many scholars argue that we will not go very far until we have strengthened our institutions, and that's what we set out to do. We started today, and so I'm not going to take any time at all. I think JOOPSA does indeed speak for itself. So it is my singular honor to stand in front of all of you distinguished people and declare this open. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, I would like to welcome for his opening remarks, fine gentleman, Mr. Anthony Okumboa, Esquire.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, Your Excellency, the wife of the Governor of Edo State, Your Excellency, the first civilian Governor of Edo State, and Her Excellency, the wife of the first civilian Governor of Edo State, permit me to stand, as we say in this part, on the already well-created protocol. Mine is to just have a small opening remark this morning. Mrs. Emuwahe, the Director General of JOOPSA, has spoken extensively on today. I'm told that I have just 5 minutes. I had prepared a speech to read, but I just have to speak to it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, what we are seeing here today is just a small part of the efforts that have been made by Mr. Governor and the government of Edo State to develop in its entirety the civil and the public service of Edo State. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, yesterday at dinner with Mr. Governor, the keynote speaker for today, Sir Steve Oronsaye, made a comment. He said, Your Excellency, if the John Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy is the only thing that you have done, then you have done well. Almost immediately after that, someone said, have you seen the secretariat? Indeed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is just one part of the many good things that this government has done for us in the civil and public service of Edo State. When we say that our governor is the best governor in Nigeria, we say it emphatically and with every sense of responsibility and without any equivocation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will just use the remaining period to talk about what this government has done so that you can see that beyond the intellectual property resource development of the service, which is key to us in service, a lot has been done. And that is why we have no doubts in our minds that what this government has done is unprecedented in the history of the state and indeed in the whole of this country. So I'll just quickly go through. First of all, have you seen the secretariat? How many of us have seen the secretariat? We have about the best workspace environment in the whole of this country. And of course, that secretariat has everything that you can think about. Everything that you can think about. It is one of the best, just like we have here, is one of the best that you can think about in the history of this country. Just go to that area that talks about, yeah. This administration has revolutionized the civil service and the public service of Edo State. Indeed, our governor is the most worker-friendly governor in the whole of this country today. Now, please go on. Today, in terms of employment, our government, the government of Edo State, is the only government in Nigeria today that has a standing instruction on the employment of first-class graduates, automatic employment for first-class graduates in the whole of this country. First-class graduates of Edo extraction in the whole of this country. Now, Edo State stands as one of the few states in Nigeria actively engaged in the recruitment of young talent for its public service and has hired over 5,000 since 2020. Over 5,000. And let me tell you this is the most important part of this. Every employment that has been done, of the 5,000 and more that we're doing, is completely merit-based. Not one person has been given to us by the governor to employ. And I think Mr. Governor deserves to be applauded for all of that. We have the fairest and the most inclusive employment process in the whole of this country today. Next slide. Is it the health insurance? Is it the issue of promotion? Today, the governor of Edo State has approved promotion of civil and public servants up to January 1st, 2023. There is no other government in Nigeria that has done that. Of course, in terms of transportation, the governor has approved buses to convey civil and public servants from different parts of the city to their respective places of work to ease the burden on workers with regards to mobility. Please go on, so I can run through. Now, you know very well that today, Edo State is the best paid public service in the whole of this country. While we receive 40,000 minimum wage, every other state in this country receives less than that. In fact, 30,000 naira. There is a state today that is still struggling to pay 18,000 naira minimum wage, but we are paying 40,000 naira, courtesy of the governor's efforts. So why other states are saying there's a casting down, we're actually saying there's a lifting up. Today, we are the only state in the federation whose civil servants and public servants, government has approved a 13th-month salary. There's no other state in this country that has done so. Our teachers are the best paid teachers in the whole of this country. We have special education allowance, teachers allowance. We have teacher special allowance. Of course, we talked about the minimum wage. And in fact, regular and prompt payment of salaries, even during times of COVID. Every civil and public servant is paid by the 26th of the month. It doesn't fail. By the 26th latest. In fact, I have seen civil and public servants come to me to say, Oga, salary came too early this month. So people are now complaining, not that there's no salary or the salary is late, but the salary is too early in coming. I think the governor deserves our applause. Now, Edo Gov, we all know that Edo State is the most e-governance compliant state in the whole of this country. As I speak to you, no state ranks close to us. Today, by the 1st of September 2023, Edo State will become a completely paperless government. I will be the first state to have achieved that, courtesy of Mr. Governor's effort. Now, we talk about free internet service. I asked you just now, have you seen the secretariat? Free internet service, almost 100% in terms of electricity. Everything there is top-notch, just like you have here. We have a new fleet management system, infrastructure, work environment is conducive, all of it. So when we say that our governor is the best governor in Nigeria, you know why we say so. So there's a lot, but I understand I have to speak for only 5 minutes, so I have to cut this short. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you, joining our sister Imuahen to welcome you to this event. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much to our head of service. He has taken us very graciously through some of the achievements of this administration and why we are celebrating very much so today. Please appreciate him once again, Mr. Anthony Okumbawa, Esquire. Thank you so much, sir. Technology does not transform anything without people. It is people who use technology to ensure that there is transformation. It is people who use knowledge and interpersonal skills and all the other wonderful soft skills to ensure that transformation takes place. And this is the space where a lot of that mind transformation will be done. We have a documentary to showcase JOOPSA to you. Please take your eyes to the screen and keep them there. Thank you.
Were simply a source of getting some more money into your pocket. So if you needed money, you just applied to get trained. And so the trainings oftentimes that were done for civil and public servants did not impact positively as expected the fortunes of the civil and public service. And so that was a major problem. And so trainings needed to be done in such a systematic way as to impact positively on the fortunes of the system, because a well-trained public service, like the governor would say often, is a service that can deliver on its assigned role. And so JOOPSA has come to deal with that lacuna.
Hello everyone, welcome to the John Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy, otherwise called JOOPSA. At JOOPSA, our mandate is to upskill and retool the civil and public service. We want to strengthen public service institutions through capacity building.
So human capacity is a core that drives everything we do in Edo State. Better the quality of people you have running your administration or the civil service, the better the outputs, the service delivery for your people.
Today, JOOPSA is at the core of His Excellency's transformation agenda, retooling the engine of government for effective service delivery.
So it is very important that for the service to be meaningful and truly responsive and make sensible, informed judgments, you have knowledge.
The civil service, the public service, is that instrumentality of government through which government delivers to the people quality government. And as such, if you want government to run effectively, then you must ensure that the civil and public service are effectively run. Because the governor likened the civil service, as far as its relationship with government, to a relationship between a car and its engine.
Well, government is like a vehicle that's headed in a certain direction. And that vehicle is being driven by public and civil servants. If the engine of a vehicle is faulty,
then the vehicle is not likely to get to its destination when it ought to.
But when you think about the civil and public servants as the engine of government, and you think about the fact that we do want government to work, there is no way around training and retraining our civil and public servants.
So, the John Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy has been set up to facilitate the training of public and civil servants using modern tools like technology to improve the services that government is meant to render to citizens.
Take a look at one of our classrooms. In this classroom, we can seat at least 25 people. You can do PowerPoint presentations, you could go on the internet, and you could do so many different things in a JOOPSA classroom. You will find in this classroom an interactive television where learners sitting on executive chairs like this can learn, take notes, and then of course we are Wi-Fi enabled. JOOPSA's strategic priorities in the coming years is to ensure that the Edo State Public Service becomes a reference point across Africa. Since inception, JOOPSA has trained over 5,000 public servants, and the feedback has been widely positive.
In comparing the learning and development process pre-JOOPSA and post-JOOPSA, we can see that there has been a lot of effort put in place in identifying a lot of the skills gaps that exist within the civil service. So in areas of proper etiquette, writing, conflict management, these are all the things that JOOPSA has pioneered in educating a lot of civil servants about.
But when I came in here for the very first time, I was amazed at the facilities, I was amazed at the structure, and I want to say that the structures and the facilities you have on ground here, in this academy can compare favorably with any of the other academies, across Nigeria and even beyond.
I think for me, there's so much great changes where I try to carry out my daily routine, my workplace. Like I've said in Abinishu, I can now feel or perceive issues differently.
By the time I went through that training and came out, I saw critical thinking from a different perspective. I saw teamwork as one of the tools which I need to deliver on my day-to-day assignments. And sincerely, it's been wonderful.
In operationalizing JOOPSA, it was important to first answer the sustainability question. Institutional linkages with the Office of the Head of Service and the Office of the Civil Service Commission was first established. Following this was the establishment of the Inter-Ministerial Counterpart Team, otherwise known as IMCT.
I think, of course, Mr. Governor was very clear that if you want a civil and public servant to do well, then you must train him. Because without training, he's not able to do well. And so Mr. Governor committed to ensuring that the intellectual property resource development of the civil service is something that was paramount in the mind of government. Sustainability is going to be everybody's responsibility. It is going to be the responsibility of the political class who are administering the public service. It's going to be the responsibility of the public servants who are receiving the benefits, the direct benefits from this institution, and also the responsibility of the citizens who are the direct beneficiaries of the services which the public servants who have been trained in this institution will deliver.
And this goal cuts across every facet of governance in the state. We must improve service delivery. And to improve service delivery, we must improve the persons
who produce the programs, and who actually deliver the services. And if that is what JOOPSA and other similar institutions can deliver, that is wonderful.
I want to see in the coming years a JOOPSA that leads thought leadership, public service thought leadership. I want this to be a melting pot of ideas where public servants come into our innovation labs and then they create some of the most exciting software that drives the future. But beyond that, I want JOOPSA to be a think tank, a policy think tank, where if you, for example, like me, you're coming from the private sector and you're coming to do anything in government, you should have done something with JOOPSA.
So what we're doing with JOOPSA is creating an institution to train the drivers of this vehicle, to train public servants who are the ones to manipulate, maintain this vehicle that is carrying us to our development destination.
We will do everything within our power to ensure that JOOPSA succeeds, because the success of JOOPSA is the success of the civil and public sector.
Of JOOPSA has been felt across all cadres. With an unwavering commitment to excellence, JOOPSA has quickly become one of the most innovative government institutions in Nigeria.
Well, I am very hopeful. I was saying it's not brick and mortar in terms of it's not something visible. You are improving the human being, who is the key factor in service delivery. So it's not a road and you go and commission it, you call the tape, say the road is ready or whatever, and everybody claps and say, hey, he has built a road. So this is more difficult to appreciate. It is long term in its permanent effects, not temporary effect. In its permanent effects, it is long term. When people start doing things because that is the right way to do it. I don't think history will forget those who started the process when the story gets to be told.
Indeed, history will remember when the story is being told. Appreciate JOOPSA once again, please. An effort and a labor of love that is continuous. Distinguished guests, it's difficult to go to a place you cannot see in the eyes of your mind. It's difficult to achieve something that hasn't first been a dream or a vision. Yes or yes? And we are grateful that the one who had the vision is here with us today, hearty and whole, and about to take the microphone. And he didn't pursue the vision alone. He ensured there are other wonderful visionaries surrounding him, come what may. Distinguished guests, please welcome to the microphone the chief servant of this state, the chief visionary of the mega agenda to make Edo great again. And he's the first student at JOOPSA, the governor of Edo State. Please welcome Mr. Godwin Obaseki.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Your Excellency, the First Lady of Edo State, my wife, Betsy Obaseki. Your Excellency, the celebrant of today, our own beloved and well appreciated first governor, executive governor of Edo State, Chief John Odigie-Oyegun, and his lovely wife, and other members of the Oyegun family who have accompanied him here today to celebrate his birthday. Before I continue appreciating others, don't you think we should sing a birthday song to him? While he is seated, let's all stand.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
May the good Lord bless you.
May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you now. May the good Lord bless you. Hip, hip.
Hooray.
Hip, hip.
Hooray.
Hip, hip.
Hooray. Thank you. The Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, who is represented by Honorable Donald Okugbe, the Chief Judge of Edo State, Honorable Justice Okungbowa, the Secretary to the Government of Edo State, Odigie-Oyegun Esquire, and other members of the Edo State Executive Council who are here, our chairman of today's occasion, Honorable Justice Samuel Uwaifo, retired. The keynote speaker, our very pride, the pride of Edo, because every day, today in Nigeria, when people are talking about the public service, the civil service, and the reforms, there's one report everybody keeps talking about, the Oronsaye reports. The reports they have refused to implement. The reports they tried to jail him for. We thank God that he's gone through all those travails for the sake of his country, and he's here with us today as our keynote speaker. The state chairman of our great party, the PDP, Dr. Anthony Azibemi, and other party chieftains who are here, our traditional rulers, members of the clergy, top government functionaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm very, very delighted to welcome and to thank each and every one of you for attending this formal inauguration of the John Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy, which is an institution, like you've been told, has been built to transform public and civil service delivery in our country and to bridge the knowledge gap of our public servants. As you have heard, the ability of a government to execute its policies is largely dependent on the quality and ability of its public servants. That is why, from the beginning of our administration, the transformation of the civil and public service of our state has always been a priority. I was clear in my mind that it will be impossible to deliver on the mandate of our administration without a strong and effective public and civil service. Unfortunately, the public service which we met was one which was very, very weak in many areas. Its processes and procedures had become blurred because they were manual, and therefore the civil service was sluggish and very prone to corruption. The workspace, the work environment was in some cases hazardous, because the day after I resumed on November 14th, 2016, I went to Palm House and I was very, very disturbed. You remember that building was cladded or was partitioned with plywood, and the fire escape was all full of files. And for me, I said, if there is a fire in this building, God forbid,
everybody here will be roasted. That was how hazardous the environment in which our civil servants worked. It was not uncommon to see civil servants who had to leave the office. Every time you ask them, well, he's not on seat. Why is the person not on seat? Because they've gone out to use the toilet facilities, since they didn't have proper toilet facilities in their offices. So these were some of the things we met when we came in. And as for the welfare of workers, it was just, it was terrible. I couldn't understand sometimes why the civil servants themselves allowed, their situation to, deteriorate to such an extent. There was nothing like performance management. Oh, I've been there for 10 years or 3 years, therefore you move to the next grade automatically. Nothing was done strategically. The criteria for promotion was not merit-based. It didn't reflect, it reflected everything else but merits. You had to belong to societies, cults, to be considered for, any rewards or things that were due to you. But more importantly, the training and human capacity was relegated. It was therefore imperative for us to change the narrative if we were to succeed in our efforts to reposition Edo for sustainable socio-economic growth. In the last 6 years, we have undertaken a holistic revamp of the public and civil service in Edo State so as to enable it to function effectively. The Edo State Transformation and Enhancement Project in this public service, which we call Edo Step, has resulted in significant, unprecedented improvement in the capacity of the civil servants to deliver optimally. So most of the pictures we're seeing in the background are for real. They were taken from programs under Edo Step. Today, the public service of Edo is the most digitized public service in Nigeria, with over 5,000 computers littered in offices and fiber optic connections to all government offices. By September 1st this year, just like the head of service said, Edo State would have achieved a paperless governance environment, which will make us the first state to achieve this feat. I've always said that I will be the last governor to work with physical files in Edo State. The offices of our public servants in Edo State are the best they can be, and they are well equipped with the state-of-the-art facilities which compare to whatever you find anywhere in the world, with 24/7 electricity from Osiomo and very high-speed internet connectivity. But what is most important is that we have prioritized the welfare of our public servants, because we know that, they say, if you don't pay people properly, then you don't expect high productivity from them. If you don't take care of them, they will not be able to take care of the work you've asked them to. So the welfare of public servants is something that we do not joke with in Edo State. That's why we've made sure that everybody who works with us for government has health insurance. And people are now beginning to see that it's paying off. That you don't have to pay a dime when you go to hospitals, even private hospitals, for treatment. We have a fully funded contributory pension scheme. We started 1st of January 2017, and I'm told that the savings in that scheme today is approaching 10 billion. So we will not have a situation going forward where people retire and you don't have money to pay them their gratuities. We've talked about the minimum wage. We've talked about promotions. These are things that are due. They're not things to be negotiated. It's part of the contract with our workers, with our civil servants. But in order to curb this, to deal with the human capacity development deficit in the civil service, we therefore embarked on the task of setting up the Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy as a center of excellence to train and build the capacity of our civil servants and public servants so that they can perform optimally. This academy will undertake training, research, exchange, and international intellectual linkages with other local and global institutions. It is very, very clear to us that only a well-skilled workforce can drive meaningful and impactful change in governance and sustain our development efforts in Edo State. The fact that we have now moved Edo State Public Service to an electronic platform makes it imperative for us to have a facility where we can train the skills and improve the knowledge of our workforce. Given the fact that the training needs for efficient service delivery are always going to be recurring because technology keeps changing, it's therefore important that we have a permanent structure and system where we continue to offer trainings on a continuous basis to upgrade the skills of our workers. Edo State is going digital. That's the direction the world has taken. Today, we're talking about AI, artificial intelligence. We're talking about the Internet of Things. We cannot go back to where it used to be. Therefore, Edo State has decided to go digital, and our public service is leading the way. We're investing in extensive digital infrastructure as we are now on the verge of completing the laying of 2,000 kilometers of fiber optics across Edo State. So that every local government, every school will eventually be connected to fiber. So that what we're doing in JOOPSA is not going to be magic or a conjecture. It means that from Akoko Edo, from Agenabode, people can link up to what we're doing here, whether they work for the local government administration or they're working for the state administration. With the investments in this extensive fiber optic connection and the capacity building through JOOPSA, our public servants, both at the state and local governments, will receive regular training, both physically and remotely, so that we can improve service delivery. The John Odigie-Oyegun Public Service Academy offers in-service training to civil and public servants with its unique selling point, which is the capacity to attract the best instructors, because we have partnerships and MOUs with many institutions across the world. And we offer courses like project management, strategic communications, crisis management, stakeholder engagements, community engagements, and so many, many others that will help bolster the skills of our public servants. We decided to name this academy after our first executive governor of Edo State and a distinguished retired federal permanent secretary, Chief John Odigie-Oyegun, because he typifies and embodies the ethos that we are propagating. That of integrity, that of intellectualism, fidelity to a cause, and excellence. These values and attributes are woven into the fabric of the modules of courses that are to be delivered in this academy and drive its mission so that we can have customized, relevant training to improve our public service. I strongly believe, as you have seen we're doing as a government, that people existed. People created things before we came. We are not standing on nothing. we are standing on platforms that have been laid before our time. It is important that we go back and remember, always remember those who started this journey and honor them. And do so when they are alive, if possible, so that it will encourage others to make the same set of sacrifices for service in our country. Because what is lacking today is nobody wants to sacrifice for the country. If it's not me, if it is not for me, my family, then it's not good. There's no need. Societies don't get built that way. So let me end this short speech by applauding the Director General of JOOPSA, a very, very, very young, energetic woman. Let me confess that I don't know what I would have done or what I would have achieved as governor, but for the women who work with me and for me. I'm sorry, but I have to say it as it is. Edo Best is a woman. Edo Jobs is a woman. You know, I could go on and on and on. And so I want to say thank you for this sacrifice. We really appreciate the work you have done, and we appreciate all the other stakeholders, the head of service, the Office of Human Resources, the Civil Service Commission, and all of those agencies of government who've worked tirelessly and given the cooperation and support which has led us to where we are today. Thank you, thank you, and thank you.
Let the applause continue.